Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, and welcome to Monday Night in America here on the NDB Media Network. I'm your host, Roger Noriega, and I want to give a shout out to Robert Summers Potterton III for our intro music. Has been since sometime in 2009. You can check him out at RSP3, the number 3, RSP3 .com. And he is a composer, artist, musician, lots of stuff. Thank you, Mr. RSP. Sorry, it's been a long day. It's been a long day indeed. Today is June 9th, 2025. I was going to say 2029 for some reason. But hey, let's get to some entertainment news. Actually, in our community chest, we do not have any announcements for today, other than we want to give a shout out to the big dog, Peter Gama, celebrating your birthday today. Way to go, big dog. Congratulations. Do we have any other birthdays that are coming up this week that maybe we could go ahead and celebrate? Let's check that out. Let's see. The aforementioned big dog, yes. Do I have any others? Maybe not. Ooh, I more than likely I don't. That's a shame. Sometimes I can check it out and it'll give me a list of upcoming birthdays. Let's see. There. Oh, you know what? Okay, here it is. Yes, today, of course, Peter Gama. Tomorrow, author Dayton Ward. June. Oh, wait, no, that's past. That's June 7th. Oops. Upcoming, Randy Landers from Potemkin Pictures, June 12th. Congratulations. Elizabeth Maldonado. Happy birthday on June 14th. So I think it's going to be a bit quiet through the next week, but shout out to them. Happy birthday, and I hope you guys are doing well. And for everyone else watching the program, if you want to go ahead and stop in and give us a quick shout out. Let me know who you are and where you hail from. It always makes the old man feel good. A little bit of entertainment news. Don't know if you know this, but a Dexter star is going to be taking over the James Bond actor role in the next game, which is due in 2026, 007 First Light. Don't know if you know this or not, but the new James Bond is going to be played by the dashing young Patrick Gibson. You know him from Dexter, and he is going to be the brand new James Bond, at least in the next game. So, kind of cool. You know him sometimes as Patty Gibson, and as fans of the original Dexter original sin, Gibson played the younger version of the titular character in that hit show. Gibson has already played a famous killer before stepping into the role of James Bond, albeit a killer of a different type. So congratulations to him and joining the franchise as the new James Bond. Wow, kind of cool. I was trolling the internet because there's no other word for it. I don't know if you know this, but fans of MASH, six facts of MASH. I don't know if you guys knew this, but of course it was based on a true story. MASH, as you know, was based on the 1970 Robert Altman film of the same name, which was an adaptation of the 1968 novel MASH, a novel about three Army doctors by Richard Hooker, the pen name of former U.S. Army surgeon H. Richard Hornberger. The Mobile Army Surgical Hospital, MASH, Mobile Army Surgical Hospital. The asterisk between the letters were a creative design element used in the fictional versions. Was first deployed by the U.S. Army during World War II as an attempt to move surgical care closer to the wounded soldiers. Tiny bit of trivia, I don't know if you know this, but the Roman soldier during the Roman times, the Roman Empire, had such great medical care that when the Roman Empire ceased to exist, such medical care for a soldier was not seen until World War I. Almost, what, 1,500 years later after the fall of Rome? Wow, that's in 425 AD. Did the Roman Empire continue into, the eastern part? You consider that? But when the Roman Empire fell, that's how bad medical knowledge went away. But that's a little bit of trivia. As you know, the charismatic character Benjamin Franklin Hawkeye Pierce, played by Alan Alda, was created by Hornberger based on his own medical heroics. during the Korean War. Hornberger was assigned to the 855th MASH, which traveled the 38th parallel, dividing the Korean peninsula, now the demilitarized zone that divides North and South Korea. His novel took 12 years to write and 5 years more to find a publisher. And eventually, Hornberger sold the television rights for the incredibly low amount of $500. Still only a few $1,000s today per episode. Well, hey, 11 years. Colonel Blake's death was kept a secret from the MASH cast. In the 1950s and 60s, death rarely came from popular television characters, and especially not the member of a beloved sitcom. When actor McLean Stevenson told producers he would be leaving MASH after season 3, the departure of his beloved character, Colonel Henry Blake, was originally planned as an earned discharge, allowing him to return home. However, in continuing to push the envelope of television comedy, Reynolds and Gelbert decided to kill off the colonel in the season finale, Abyssinia Henry. Didn't know that one. Only one actor appeared in every MASH episode. Anyone know? Despite the show's success and perhaps due to its long run, MASH experienced several significant cast changes, and several favorite characters were replaced with equally dynamic new ones. A standard practice on long-running shows today, but it was rare back then. In addition to Stevenson's departure, Wayne Rogers, Captain John McIntyre, abruptly quit after season 3, reportedly due to dissatisfaction with the development of his character. Production planned a multi-million-dollar breach of contract lawsuit against the actor, but he revealed he never signed his contract, which made the matter moot. Wow. Stevenson's Colonel Blake was succeeded by Colonel Potter, played by Harry Morgan, while B.J. Honeycutt, played by Mike Farrell, took Trapper John's place in the 477. Radar, the only main character transferred from the movie to the TV show series, left the show in 1979. Of the many actors, and I was privileged, honored to be called Radar, and if you know a little bit of the backstory, it might be true too. But anyway, nope, I'm good. That was messed up. Radar was the one that got everything for the unit. And when I was in my former position, that was my job, making sure that we had everything for our field personnel. I was damn good at it too. I traded a lot of stuff. I had the privilege of the supervisors in my office signing off on every and any purchase that I wanted. And I could use that, and I would trade that with other units, not unlike MASH. And when they called me Radar, wow, that was cool. And now I can start speaking about it. For those of you that know on Facebook, I've already made the announcement. It's pretty much going to be effective in a few days. But what was I going to say? I don't know. It's going to spill some beans or something. But in addition to being called Radar, that one went away. Unfortunately, the nickname that I had next stuck for a while. It was like 3 or 4 years, maybe 5 years, was the AB. Oh, man, that one got on my nerves. I was referred to as the administrative bitch. Oh, that one grated on me. Boy, did it grate. And I couldn't get rid of it. I could not. But I got my way. I had everything that I wanted, and I did what I had to. So, yeah, I could see why it was called the AB. That one stuck, sadly. So when a supervisor from North County was going to be assigned to Central Yard, who shall go nameless at this point, but everyone knows who he is, he had a new nickname for me, and I was just so desperate to get out of the AB. I know he got away with one, but I was so desperate to get rid of AB. The nickname he gave me was Doubtfire. And the reason why he gave me Doubtfire is because of all the stuff that I did. And it was fine. I could accept it. And, yeah, I was Doubtfire for a long time. Actually, I think that might have been the last one that I had. I had Radar, AB, and Doubtfire. Yeah. Take it however you want. I was okay with Doubtfire. But I digress. Loretta Swift. Margaret Hot Lips Houlihan was a close second in terms of longevity. She appeared in all 11 seasons but missed a handful of episodes. So do you know who is the number one? Of the many actors who appeared on the show, Alda was the only star to appear in every episode. Through its run, the actor took increasing creative control of the series, directing 31 episodes, including the finale, which I did not know. And co-writing, yeah, I did know that. The number of episodes, 13, I did not. He became the first person ever to win Emmy Awards for acting, directing, and writing for the same show. Wow. As you know, you can visit the original set location. As you know, most sitcoms were filmed on set, at somewhere, but and in front of a live audience. But to enhance the wartime realism of the show, exterior intensities were shot on location in the mountains near Malibu, California. And it's in a state park, so you can actually go visit. And I believe they still have some items that are there, which is really kind of cool. On October 9, 1982, as the series was wrapping production, a sweeping brush fire destroyed most of the outdoor sets. The fire was written into the final episode as being caused by enemy bombs that forced the 477th to move out. The site today is known as Malibu Creek State Park, and some of the original set locations are still intact and open to visitors, which is awesome. The cast voted to end the series. The actors worked closely as an ensemble and also became friends off set. As Alda remembered, quote, most of the time actors disperse and go to their dressing rooms between shots. We sat around in a circle a circle of chairs making fun of each other, having fun, unquote. The cast was so close that they voted as a team to end the series. Many of them believe that they exhausted all the stories for their characters. The cast members who wanted to continue starred in the series after MASH, which ran from 1983 to 1985. Did not do very well. That's why it didn't run very long. And of course, the Korean War went for 3 years. Well, I don't know. It might still be on. It's just they have a ceasefire, but they still take shots at each other. After its first season, MASH aired on Sunday night against ABC's Wonderful World of Disney. Ratings were near the bottom of the list, and the series was almost canceled. In its second season, MASH was moved to the powerhouse CBS Saturday lineup just after All in the Family, and followed by the Mary Tyler Moore Show, the Bob Newhart Show, and the Carol Burnett Show. As a result, MASH became one of the top 10 programs of the year and mostly stayed in the top 20 throughout the remainder of its 11-season run. This remarkable achievement far surpassed the span of the Korean War, which lasted just over 3 years, June 1950 to July 1953. So just to give you a few ideas, that was some things that you may or may not have known of MASH. I consider myself someone who is understanding, who will listen. I know people will argue with me about it, but you can convince me with a logical argument. I am willing to have a conversation with you. But once I'm done, and I'll let you know that I'm done, and I'll tell you why I'm done. But along those lines, are you familiar with any of these 12 historical hoaxes? Would they have fooled you? I ask you to be honest. And this is from dictionariescoop.com. The Piltdown Man. In 1912, an Englishman named Charles Dawson claimed to have discovered the remains of Family Feud. Oh, I'm sorry, wrong guy. That's Richard Dawson, by the way. Of a missing link between apes and humans in Piltdown, England. At the time, the discovery was hailed as the most significant find in the history of human evolution. It wasn't until the 1950s that it was revealed as a hoax, with Dawson using modern human and orangutan bones to create the fake skeleton. The Cottingley Fairies. In 1917, two young cousins, Elsie Wright and Frances Griffiths, captured photographs they claimed showed real fairies in the woods near Cottingley, England. The photos gained worldwide attention, and their authenticity was even endorsed by notable figures like Sir Arthur Conan Doyle. Decades later, in the 1980s, the cousins admitted the images were fake, using cardboard cutouts to create the illusion of fairies. Don't laugh. This was long before the era of Photoshop and even AI. The Cardiff Giant. In 1869, a 10-foot stone figure was unearthed in Cardiff, New York, and hailed as the petrified remains of a giant. The discovery caused an immediate sensation, drawing massive crowds and widespread media coverage. However, the so-called giant was a deliberate hoax crafted by George Hull. And of course, I was going to throw my name in there. Hull, a staunch skeptic, created the figure to settle a score after a heated argument with a Methodist reverend about the biblical existence of giants. Frustrated by people's gullibility, Hull aimed to expose just how easily he could deceive the masses with his fabricated giants. It worked. The Trojan Horse. Although it's part of a largely fictional account of the Trojan War, the Trojan Horse is undeniably the mother of all hoaxes in history and legend. According to the story, near the war's end, the Greeks staged a retreat, leaving behind a massive wooden horse as a supposed peace offering at Troy's gates. Unbeknownst to the Trojans, the horse concealed Greek warriors who waited until nightfall to emerge, open the gates, and allow their army to overrun the city. Today, this story endures as a timeless parable of the use of cunning and deception in warfare. Did it happen? Look up your history. The Great Moon Hoax. In 1835, The Sun, which was a New York newspaper, published a series of sensational articles claiming that astronomers had discovered life on the moon in 1835. The stories, later attributed to reporter Richard Adams Locke, though others were suspected to be involved, described fantastical creatures and a lush lunar landscape. All you have to do is look up. There's no lush anything up there. Or maybe just a lush, those that believed it. Supposedly observed through a gigantic telescope, they were able to see lush green fields. Conveniently, the telescope was said to have burned down shortly after the breakthrough. The incredible claims caused a frenzy, but soon were exposed as a hoax, designed to boost the paper sales. What a shock. Is that a form of yellow journalism because of the cheese of the moon? Since the 1930s, reports of a mysterious creature lurking in Scotland's Loch Ness have fascinated the public. Photographs, including the famous surgeon's photo from 1934, were once touted as proof of the creature's existence, but have since been debunked as hoaxes, of course, with many revealed to be manipulated or staged. Despite its dubious origins, the legend of Nessie has long transcended fraud to become a true cultural mythology. Like many great legends, it thrives on a blend of mystery, hope, and the enduring allure of the unknown. On April Fool's Day in 1957, the BBC aired a segment showing Swiss farmers harvesting spaghetti from trees. Presented as a Sears report, the broadcast fooled many viewers, likely due to a post-war lack of familiarity with spaghetti in Britain. Curious callers flooded the BBC to verify the story, and the network cheekily advised them to place a sprig of spaghetti in a tin of tomato sauce and hope for the best. Arguably the silliest hoax on this list by far, it goes on to show how gullible people can be. Now, this one really happened, and it was crazy. It shows you what could really happen, and really happened. The hoax itself really happened, like all these others, I suppose. But this one I do know about, so I don't know what that means. I'm going to take a sip of water for right now. As I take a quick break, don't forget ndbmedia.net. There it is down there. You can follow it to check out everything that's going on. And I did pick this up at the Smithsonian Aeronautical Space Museum, Apollo 13. Their motto, of course, failure is not an option, which that is not the motto of Apollo 13. It's from Ex Luna Ciencia, which is from the moon. I'm gonna get it out eventually. I will eventually be able to say it. From the Moon Science. In 1938, Orson Welles' radio adaptation of H.G. Wells' The War of the Worlds caused widespread panic among listeners who believed a Martian invasion was actually taking place. This was due to the storytelling style, which presented the story as a series of news reports, blurring the line between fiction and reality. While the reactions were unintended, it became one of the most famous hoaxes in history. The infamous broadcast even became a case study of power of mass media to manipulate the public. It was so good. And yet, when they would take breaks, they would announce it was Saturday night. It was a radio drama, but you weren't listening. Problem was that they used real locations, and I guess that led to it, among other things. It was just so well done. I have heard the broadcast. It's wow, so well done, man. It really is, and you should check it out. It's really good to hear. In 1996, physicist Alan Sokal admitted a deliberately nonsensical paper to the prestigious academic journal Social Text. The paper, filled with convoluted jargon and academic buzzwords, made no logical sense and presented no meaningful ideas. Sokal's goal was to expose the lack of intellectual rigor in certain academic circles. To his surprise, the article was published, not unlike when I wrote an email in December of 2022 to management, and I called my immediate supervisor a clown. The clown missed it. It took other people to tell him, dude, what's your opinion? What do you mean? What do you mean, what's my opinion? Yeah, in the email on this date, Roger called you a clown. No, he didn't. Read it in Roger's words. Far from a jumbled mess. That happened. I'll post the email. I can't for a few days yet, but I will post the email. Physicist, yeah, okay. To his surprise, the article was published. Afterwards, Sokal revealed the hoax, sparking a widespread debate about intellectual rigor and some journals' willingness to publish questionable content. I have to tell you, folks, I'm one of those that read everything when it comes to doing stuff, whether it's law, tax law, regulations, refund policies, all that stuff. I read that stuff. Terms of service, I read all of it. And I have to. It's just in my nature. I do that. And other people do not. And it's really embarrassing when stuff like that happens. What do they say is an accident? A series of unintended consequences, which putting them together leads to an accident or an event, whatever. Now, not exactly a hoax, but a lesson on how quickly the media can jump to sensational conclusions. I do remember this, even when the science is still in progress. In 1984, scientists discovered a meteorite in Antarctica, and I remember this, that appeared to have originated from Mars. Some of its unique features, including structures resembling microscopic fossils, led certain scientists to speculate that it could be evidence of ancient life or Martian life. The discovery made headlines, with former U.S. President Bill Clinton even hailing it as humanity's first proof of extraterrestrial life. However, after the study, it was concluded that the unusual features were not markers of life after all. And I believe that was 1994, not 1984. Of course, famously in the 1950s, adventurers in the Himalayas reported finding large footprints they believed belonged to the mythical Yeti. I know I'm losing my voice. While some of these claims may have been the result of misidentified Himalayan wildlife, further investigation revealed that many of the footprints and other supposed evidence were likely hoaxes, with human prints altered or created using tools. This means there are no abominable snowmen lurking in the mountains after all. And I believe you may have heard this one, which this one is, there's actually a lot more to it. And I have to do a story on this one itself. but I'm going to hint it right now. I'm going to take a quick note of it, and it's the not the hoax, but is the curse of. I'm going to tell you who it is. In the early 20th century, the discovery of King Tutankhamun's tomb by archaeologist Howard Carter was followed by rumors of a terrible curse. Several members of the expedition died under allegedly mysterious circumstances, leading to sensationalized stories of a curse placed on those who disturbed the tomb. While the deaths were natural, the stories surrounding the curse captivated the world, spreading rapidly through media and fiction. When one looks at the statistical anomaly, this one stands out. But it is cool. It is fun. The curse of Tutankhamun. All right. That'll be another one for another day. So I hope you've appreciated some of these stories. They're kind of cool. They're fun. And I'm probably going to end with this one. The Lost City of Atlantis. This is from historyfacts.com. Don't know if you're familiar with them or not. Usually good stuff. But this is what we have. The story of Atlantis first appeared in Plato's dialogues Timaeus and Critias, written around 360 BCE or BC. Guys, I'm old. It's BC. You know who invented BC and AD? Come on. You don't know? Look it up. This is just people just trying to reinvent stuff. No, it's 360 BC. I mean, even the famous astronomer from the United States says it's BC and AD. Why? Because it was invented by people who were very smart, but whatever. But when you have idiots and people who just want to hate, they have to change it to fit their narrative. Whatever. The Greek philosopher described Atlantis as a sophisticated civilization that became corrupt under its own might, angering the gods and causing the city to disappear underwater. Despite the legend's intrigue, no historical or archaeological evidence has ever confirmed the existence of Atlantis. Instead, it is widely regarded as a fictional allegory used by Plato to explore themes such as power, virtue, and society. According to Plato's myth, Atlantis was an island of demigods located beyond the Pillars of Hercules in the modern day Strait of Gibraltar. So that would put it out in the Atlantic, which in Greek mythology represent the boundary of the known world. The half god, half man Atlanteans let their greed surpass their ethics, and as they pushed to conquer more territory, the gods sent catastrophic earthquakes and floods that sank Atlantis into the ocean within about a day. While Plato's account is widely considered a philosophical allegory for his ideas about the ideal state and moral decay, some have taken the story literally, sparking centuries of speculation and searches for the so-called lost civilization. So why is Plato's fable often taken as historical fact? Actually, most people do not take Atlantis as historical fact. People who are on the fringe, people who, well, they're on the fringe. The belief that Atlantis really existed is widely attributed to a 19th century American writer and congressman, Ignatius L. Donnelly, who also went on to write a book aiming to prove that English philosopher Francis Bacon was the true author of William Shakespeare's play. What a bang! Isn't Francis Bacon the what did Francis Bacon invent or discover? He invented the metaphor of idol to refer to such cases of human error. Bacon distinguishes four idols or main varieties of proneness to error. Ooh, okay. What did Roger Bacon invent? Yeah, gunpowder. Okay. I mixed my bacons. Oh, man. I did. I mixed them. So what am I going to do? Anyway, In his 1882 book, Atlantis, the Antediluvian World, Donnelly argued that the mythical island described by Plato was not only real, but also the cradle of all ancient civilization. Donnelly's idea captured the imagination of the public, and while it has since been debunked as pseudoscientific, it inspired additional research and theories over the years. One such theory links Atlantis to the disappearance of the architecturally and artistically advanced Minoan civilization that lived on the Greek islands of Crete and Thera, modern Santorini, around 3000 BC to 1100 BC. A catastrophic earthquake resulting in a volcanic eruption, as you know, uh, Santorini, and subsequent tsunamis most likely contributed to the end of the Minoans. We actually don't know the name of the culture. That's what we name them. And some think aligned with Plato's account of a sudden disappearance of a thriving civilization. That might be the actual connection. But proponents of the Atlantis myth also point to an underwater discovery known as the Bimini Road as evidence of the ancient city. Now, here on NDB Media, we interviewed an author who discussed the Bimini Road ad infinitum here. Well, I shouldn't have said ad infinitum. That was incorrect. Uh, a while ago, like in 2010 or 2011, she was a phenomenal author. I forget her name, but she wrote numerous books after she had a stroke and she was paralyzed on her left side and she was only able to use one hand to type. Incredible author, and I believe she was also blind as well. Unbelievable. But for those that know and don't know, the Bimini Road allegedly is in the Caribbean. If you look up Bimini Road, oh, Bimini, here it is. I did a search. I'm going to head on over to it on screen right here. Share the screen. And there it is. You do a search, Bimini Road. It's an underwater rock formation. And it's crazy, folks. Some of the imagery there, you see? It's amazing. Okay, that's fake. That's not it. I believe that's an image of it. Yeah, these are okay. That's an actual image of it. See, and it looks like a road. So you guys should look it up. It's a real thing. The Bimini Road. It's a rock formation, but it's in the Bahamas. It's way out from where Atlantis should or would be. But this was discovered in 1968, which I'd forgotten that, off the coast of North Bimini, an island in the Bahamas. Not somewhere you would think that Atlantis would be, but it is in the Atlantic, so I'll give that. The submerged rock formation consists of a series of rectangular limestone blocks whose symmetry and layout appear to be man-made. Despite the attention the diving discovery received at the time, carbon dating concluded that Bimini stones were a natural geologic occurrence created by erosion. Other, more far-fetched theories speculate that Atlantis may have been located on Antarctica before it was covered in ice, or that it was a large continent in the Atlantic Ocean that became submerged due to geological shifts, or because the Bermuda Triangle, another mystery that is actually a persistent myth. Yet another theory suggests that Atlantis' tale is a retelling of a real ancient floods, such as the deluge of the Mediterranean seawater into the Black Sea around 5600 BC. We do know there was a great flood when the Mediterranean near Turkey, I forget, Istanbul or Byzantium, whatever, when the water broke in, it was a massive flood. But, okay. And we've been able to date that. And when we do go deep in the Black Sea, we have found remains from culture of people who lived down in that canyon. It's an immense canyon. But was that the story? Now, remember, the Ice Age was up until about 13 or 11,000 BC, and we weren't really communicating. if you guys really want to check something out, you should check out. Oh my goodness, the two sites that are in Turkey. I've talked about it on this program as well. Oh my goodness, I cannot remember their Kazan. Oh my goodness, what are their names? Kazan, Turkey. Oh, I cannot. Ah, that's actually a city in Turkey. Kazan Bepe. Kazan Bepe, is it? I actually, I think that's a city. I've talked about. All right, Turkey archaeological sites. I'm about to follow up with those. I wish I remember. Let me go to Google Maps. I might be able to find it real quick. And these things go back about 13, 14,000 years. Destroyed the entire timeline of humanity, that we built structures that are like temples, and we shouldn't have had them at that time, and yet we've been able to date them to back then, and it's just absolutely incredible. And it is screwing with the timeline of humanity. And yeah. All right, here we go. I think it's in eastern Turkey. Yeah, I'm not going to find it just looking at this. Ugh. Yeah, I'm not going to find archaeological sites in Turkey. That's actually kind of lame. There's so many. Yeah, I'm not going to. There's actually so much in Turkey, which is just incredible. I I wonder what they're going to be. Go Begli Tepe. There it is. Go Begli Tepe. You guys have to check that out, man. We'll see if we can do an episode on it. It's down here in southeast. This is an archaeological site that predates everything. It's just absolutely incredible what they have found there. And there's another site which is actually older than Gobekli Tepe. It's incredible what they have found there. And it goes back 14,000 years, if not more. It's absolutely amazing. We built it. Humanity, humans built it. It's incredible. We are much smarter than even we knew. It's just absolutely incredible. But I'm way off topic right there, and I do apologize. But yeah, I definitely got way off topic on it. But though most modern scholars and archaeologists consider Atlantis to be imaginary, that hasn't lessened the allure of the legend, and believers continue to hunt for proof of the existence of this storied civilization. Now, there's a formation, not Gobekli Tepe, but it's in North Africa, where it's a circular formation, and it's absolutely amazing. It's crazy. It's beautiful, and you can see it. Yep, there it is. Okay, check this out. When you look at North Africa, here's Egypt, Morocco, Algiers. When you start closing in the Mauritania area, look at that structure over there. Look at that. Isn't that crazy? I think I'm going to talk about that one next week. to write it down, otherwise it's not going to happen. You guys know anything about it? Be ready to talk about it next week. I'm going to have some imagery on it. I don't believe I'm ever going to be able to visit that site, but I am coming up with some long distance plans that I do intend to visit Gobekli Tepe probably within the next 4 years. I want to head out there, and I don't think I'm going to be able to go over to North Africa. I just don't have it's way out there, man. There's a road that you can take to get out there, but it's just absolutely incredible. It's so immense, the size. I mean, it's like, there's this 10 miles across. Huge. Absolutely huge. I believe it's a normal Earthian structure. I can't think of the words right now because I'm getting older. But it's an incredible structure. Maybe next week, guys, if you've seen something on Google Earth and you want to have us go over it, let us know. Let's talk about it. But I will talk about that one next week. And oh no, wait. Next week is a no. I don't think I'll be available. No. The longest running program on the internet will be off next week. So June 15th, we will not be on air. We've got to take care of quite a bit of stuff. So we will not be available. But I hope you enjoyed this program. There's a lot of stuff I collected I had a chance to talk about. I'm going to see if I can work some more images in as I learn how to do this. And I ask you to bear with me. That way it's just not me staring at the screen, because I know that gets boring after a while. Actually, it is boring. But I want to thank everyone that stopped in today. Don't forget to head on over to ndbmedia.net. Take a look at everything that's going on the network. And thanks for stopping in and visiting with me. And I will be on Saturday for Sports Talk with the Guys. And it looks like a Sunday morning program will be returning to the network. And our thoughts go out to Liz. I hope she's doing much better. And we wish Miss Olivia a quick recovery. So for everyone else, we have a holiday coming up on June what? What's the holiday? June 19th. Ooh, that's Thursday next week. We'll see where I'll be celebrating that one. In the meantime, failure is not an option. This is NDB Media. We'll see you guys on the other side. Peace! Oh, I'm going to Barnes & Noble right now to spend a little bit of time with my youngest. We'll see you guys.